Hey guys, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is my detailed review of the Iron Cross HD Series rear bumper, available for your 2015 and up F-150. This review is going to cover a few basic topics here with the HD Series rear bumper from Iron Cross. Basically, what you can expect when it comes to materials and construction, what you're going to be looking at as far as functionality and basic styling, and then finally, what it takes to get this thing installed. Now, as far as the actual install itself, guys, well, there is a fair amount of work here to get this thing in place, including transferring a few things over from your factory rear bumper. So let's call it a soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, with a little bit more detail coming up later on. So the HD Series rear bumper from Iron Cross should appeal to any F-150 owner out there for a few basic reasons, but basically it's going to boil down to functionality and appearance, or maybe even a combination of both. From a functionality standpoint, the HD Series rear bumper is just going to be a massive upgrade over the factory bumper in regards to materials, and you're also going to be getting some recovery points thanks to the incorporated D-ring mounts here and D-rings. As far as the appearance side of things, well, the Iron Cross bumper is just going to look cool either by itself or maybe even to complement an aftermarket front steel bumper, whether it be from Iron Cross or someone else. Now, personally, I really like what Iron Cross does from a business model standpoint. They build some really hardcore products for the truck and Jeep aftermarket with a focus on the step option market in addition to some bumpers like we have here. Now, all their stuff is hand-built in the States, and all of it is going to be as tough as it comes. But let's first talk about how these things, or why these things are so tough. Let's break down the construction a little bit more, because I do think it's going to be one of the biggest pros when checking out an aftermarket steel bumper like this. Again, heavy gauge steel pretty much throughout, guys. This thing is essentially bulletproof. You're looking at CNC laser cut throughout, double welded both inside and outside of the bumper here for added strength. Again, bulletproof is just the word to sum this thing up. Iron Cross then finishes everything off in a really nice textured black powder coat, as you can see here. It's going to help increase the look, give it a tough look, but it's also going to help increase the durability over the years. And if you should ever encounter a problem, Iron Cross does have a pretty solid warranty. The HD bumper does also incorporate these really burly, check these things out, D-ring mounts here in addition to the D-rings themselves. These things are about an inch thick and again, double welded, reinforced, as solid as it gets. So these are going to come in handy if you do thrash your truck off-road, maybe get stuck in a mud pit or a tough spot, help you get yanked out with that. Or maybe if you just want to yank some bushes or stumps out of the yard. Basically, this bumper will be adding some functionality to your truck. Now, my one gripe with this bumper here from Iron Cross is that they do not include an option that is pre-drilled for your reverse sensors if your truck is equipped. So if your truck is equipped, that just means you're gonna have to drill them yourself. Not a huge deal, but it does just make more work for you at the end of the day, and it is something to be aware of. But let's move past the function a little bit here with the HD Series and talk about aesthetics a little bit more, because in my opinion, this is a very good looking bumper. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorites right now for the 2015 and up trucks. In my opinion, the Rogue stuff is very nice. It's very baller, but it's a little too off-roady for me, especially with all the rivets everywhere. The Iron Cross option, on the other hand, is gonna balance some of that off-road functionality or capability, but with a look that's gonna appeal to most truck owners out there without looking like you're about ready to enter the Baja 1000. Sticking with the appearance a little bit more, now Iron Cross obviously likes to get that brand recognition out there. If you've checked out their front bumper options, you'll notice their logo is pretty much everywhere. Well, they do like to do the same here at the rear. You can see the twin Iron Cross logos, CNC laser cut into the rear bumper. But other than that, guys, this thing is pretty much all business. There's no fake hardware or rivets or anything like that present on this thing. It's just a tough looking, simple bumper. And I do think that's one of the biggest reasons people add a steel bumper like this, or maybe entertain the option of getting one on their ride. Functionality aside, protection aside, this thing is just gonna look cool. No matter whether your truck's lifted 6 inches with 35s, or if you have like a relatively stock looking rig. This thing is definitely gonna change up the appearance from the rear and give your truck more of that hardcore look. On the topic of price, steel bumpers are certainly not the cheapest modification you can do to your truck out there, and the same goes with the Iron Cross options. That being said, these are definitely going to be more of your entry-level or more affordable options in the world of aftermarket steel bumpers. In fact, look for this thing to hit you for about $800 to $900. Compare that to the Rogue or ADD options, which can be anywhere from $1,500 or more. So ultimately, yes, you are going to be dropping a good amount of coin for this thing, but it's not as much as you might spend with some of those other options. Let me give you a quick little walkthrough of the install here, give you a better idea of what to expect when the time comes to get this thing bolted up. As I mentioned earlier, there are a few more steps involved with the rear here than the front per se, so that's why I'm going to punch this up to a 2 out of 3 on my overall scale of difficulty, maybe 2 to 3 hours to get everything bolted up from start to finish. Now, speaking of the install, obviously that factory rear bumper has to come off first before you even attempt anything with the Iron Cross option. But with that factory rear, that's kind of interesting because that's not one piece. There's actually two caps topped off by the plastic portion, which is the step portion. You're not going to be using any of that stuff. Instead, you're going to be using the skeleton that's attached to, along with the trailer hitch portion to help you mount the Iron Cross bumper. Along with that skeleton from your factory bumper, you're also going to need to transfer a few things over like we talked about a little bit earlier. First and foremost is your trailer harness or wiring harness here that will be switched over to the new bumper itself. Iron Cross does include some new license plate lights here that will be used with this new bumper. Your factory lights will no longer be used, so you have to wire these guys in. And then finally, you have to determine whether or not you want to drill the bumper for those reverse sensors if your truck is equipped. As far as tool list here, guys, you're looking at some basic hand tools. Socket set, maybe a few open-ended wrenches, and then finally a drill and a few drill bits to get those reverse sensors in place. In the world of aftermarket steel bumpers for your truck, it's easy to go over the top, not only with styling, but also with price. In my opinion, the HD series rear from Iron Cross does a great job of balancing both functionality and styling while managing to keep the price in check compared to some of your other options. So that's my review of the Iron Cross HD series rear bumper, which you can find right here at AmericanMuscle.com.